Welcome to PLUSone, the series where each month I look at the free games on PlayStation Plus and tell you if they're worth the download. After all, the games may be free, but your time is valuable. On the docket for June 2018, we only have two games, XCOM 2 and today's featured game, Trials Fusion. The fifth game in the Trials series, Fusion is a 2014 2.5D racing platformer game published by Ubisoft. You'll take control of your crash test dummy character and his motorcycle across increasingly chaotic platforming challenges. The best way that one can describe the Trials series is mindless high-octane fun. From the very start, you're thrown into tracks full of exploding dams, superhuman leaps, the stuff that adrenaline junkies dream of. In the Trials games, you only have to worry about moving left or right down a set track, but it's entirely up to you how you do so. If you want to go out of your way to be flashy and perform a dozen backflips or do the entire track while popping a wheelie, by all means you can. Conversely, if you want to play it safe or go for the fastest possible run, that's your choice too. It's a very simple gameplay loop, and depending on what kind of player you are, it's a very addictive one. However, if you're not a fan of repetition in your games, Trials isn't the series for you. The weight of your character and its distribution across the bike you're riding, the actual weight distribution of the bike itself, the angles of the hills you ride over, and pretty much any tiny factor can cause you to crash regardless of if you're prepared or not. For many people, that may be a frustrating prospect. For example, I'm sometimes a perfectionist, so at first I found myself going for the perfect run before mastering the track and restarting entirely whenever I goofed up. Thankfully, if you do wipe out in any way, you can simply press the circle button to immediately pop back to your most recent checkpoint, or at any time you can press the left side of the DualShock 4's touchpad to restart the entire level. Both of these are instantaneous too, no loading screens to worry about here. It's to you perfectionists that I highly suggest you set that aside and go with the flow, because Trials has far too much content for you to ever want to complete. On every campaign track, there are 3 optional objectives that will earn you bonus experience, as well as your usual bronze, silver, and gold medals. Leveling up will unlock new bikes, new cosmetic for your bikes or your character, the usual. And in addition to dozens of campaign tracks and a full season pass's worth of DLC levels, there are hundreds of thousands of custom tracks made by players just like you or I. Although, unlike you or me, these players are really good at making tracks. What kind of sucks is that many of the top-rated tracks use content from the DLC packs. So if you want the full experience, you not only have to throw down $20 for the season pass, but another $10 after that for another DLC pack that, for whatever reason, doesn't come with that season pass. On top of that, there's a digital currency that you can use to buy specific bonus cosmetics for your character or your bike, which you can and essentially have to spend real money for, so yeesh, they really milked this one for all it was worth. I can't speak to the quality of those DLC levels because I don't own them. Playing this game in 2018 though, it definitely feels like you're only getting half of the experience if you don't have them, and that's a bit of a downer. That half of the experience is fun, but within about 20 minutes I was done with well over 10% of the campaign levels, so there's not a whole lot here that was actually made by the developers. I sort of treat the single player offering like a sample for the real meat here, and that's the online component. The campaign's difficulty is a nice smooth curve, acting as a great tutorial into the basic mechanics before you go do the crazy stuff online. If you think back to April when Trackmania was free on PS Plus, that Ubisoft game also focused heavily on its online and track creation features. Thankfully, unlike Trackmania, the search options in Trials Fusion are fantastic. There are so many different ways to find the kind of tracks you want. There are several community picks tabs. There are developer picks tabs. You can even make your own custom search fields. This is essentially how any search feature should feel in any game with custom content. Additionally, you can play online multiplayer with up to 8 players, where all of you race in real time across a selection of tracks to the end goal. In my time with the multiplayer, I never had any lag whatsoever on my end, and everything felt just as smooth as it did when I was offline. The other racers sometimes had some laggy moments, but that was just a visual thing only and never affected the outcome of a race. I had a lot of fun stacking up against strangers online, and I can only imagine it would be even more fun sitting on your couch and playing it with your buddies. Also, it's really nice that the game earns your experience across 3 different level sets, one for the campaign, one for custom tracks, and one for multiplayer, so you can actually see where your overall level is coming from. Visually, the game is a beauty. In my experience, I never ran into any performance issues. The only quirk that I saw was that the shadow on the background of this specific wind turbine seemed to run at a lower frame rate. I'm not sure why I noticed that, and it affects literally nothing, but hey, don't say I'm not thorough. I guess I could nitpick and say that for all the crazy stuff happening behind you on these tracks, you don't really get to appreciate it when you're focusing on keeping yourself from crashing. Set pieces never actively distracted me from the action, but there were one or two points when I really wanted to see what was happening in the background, but I couldn't take my focus off of the foreground. Again, very minor nitpick. The soundtrack is solid, nothing special, just about what you'd expect from a motocross game. Trials Fusion is pretty much exactly what you would expect out of a Trials game, and the series really hasn't needed to evolve too much since the Xbox 360 days. That's not a bad thing whatsoever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and for you PlayStation stalwarts, this is probably your first time trying the franchise out. For that reason, I would say it's worth a +1 to your collection. That said, if you have played the series before and you didn't love it then, you won't love it now. Also, if you're looking for another game to get a Platinum Trophy for, run. Trials is one of the most time-consuming and potentially one of the most difficult Platinums to get, and it will take you dozens upon dozens of hours of doing these same tracks over and over again. Play this one for fun, not for your trophy ranking. All in all, it's a worthwhile time and an easy way to kill some time just chipping at the challenges bit by bit. At only 5GB in size, it's a pretty compact download too, so it won't hurt your hard drive to hold on to this one for a while. If you're watching after June's PS Plus rolls over, the game goes for $20 regular price on PSN. There is a $40 digital bundle that has all of the bonus content built right in, but at that price you can just buy the physical copy for $20, which has that DLC as a free bonus. I would say get the physical release just so you can have the true full experience. Do you think you're gonna download Trials Fusion? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're down there, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more. For you frequent +1 viewers and my subscribers out there, not too long ago I put out a small update video regarding +1 and my video schedule as a whole, so make sure you check that out.